The Genesis Communications Network is sponsored by the U.S. Money Reserve, your exclusive source for gold and silver precious metals. Visit them online at usmoneyreserve.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Mark Leibovit, and it's Saturday morning, April 9th. Welcome to Wall Street Raw. Wall Street Raw is a Jewish coalition, and we have some big guests, including Senator Ted event, meeting a lot of quite significant speakers and of Ted Cruz in the Wisconsin primary. We have Dennis Prager. Also, interesting schedule ahead, and it's a close proximity to where I'm located. An interesting show for you today. As always, we have my good friend Sinclair No will be joining us here. Joining from and author of the blog EatTheBankers.com. Bill Murphy from gate.org, GATE.org, joining us later in the program. The basic background. As you know, I'm a former market maker on the CBOE. I was a special appeared with Paul Kangas on the Nightly Business Report for 30 years as a monitor guest, and author of the VRTrader.com website, where we cover individual stocks on our VR Trader Platinum portfolio. We follow Vice stocks. Stocks, including the ones here at Vegas, of course. We have some great trades on our Vice letter, so you should. We have our book, The Trader's Book of Volume, and one of the things I'm proud about in that book, and we talk about it in our intro, ranked very highly in the Timer Digest rankings over the years. Hard news coverage, honest reporting is becoming almost scarce in the financial and political circles. Respect for the will of the people and the rule of law, while at the same time attacking Republicans over relative misleading and distorted. There is something rotten in Denmark, and we try to take the come in, but at the same time, you have to be a practical market follower and technician and track what's real. Happening here, as you know, in the last several weeks, ever since the mid-February low, the stock market disarray, and you don't have the confirmation. Many world markets, as you know, have dropped 20. At that time into mid-February, but has recently rebounded to within a few percentage points of it. That its sell may go away. Here we are in early April, and we've seen some tops in early. There are signs that there's exuberance out there. Volume has been low on the rally, but at the same time, many I've mentioned too seem to think I'm joking about it, but there's been talk about, of course, building the wall. And rallying to new highs through this whole period of time. So the stock market is anticipating Ted Cruz if one of those two are successful into the White House. So it's very interesting, following the cover here in the last several weeks. The bears were running rampant when gold got down about the 1080, 10. Pretty much started a multi-year move, but it's going to be volatile along the way. Should trend higher here, and if we have a little bit of a low or pullback here in the next several weeks, that would offer another buy. Points that we cover with Sinclair on our interview, we're going to talk about, cover some of the issues that would drive gold higher in that environment. Meanwhile, global bond yields fell to a record low, which is a warning sign for the worldwide economy. The yield on the Bank of America Global the world's developed sovereign debt is now in negative yields after Europe and Japan cut interest rates below zero. They're pretty much fueling that global rally, but we've also seen strength in the Dow utilities and utility stocks. Out there. According to data from ETF.com, the 10 exchange not, despite the fact that you see the market high. Meanwhile, 6 of the 10 biggest recipients of inflow attracting fresh cash flows. There's a war of cash being waged out there. They want your money. They want to make you. They want you to make you keep it there. So they're trying to eliminate cash. And really, you can't use cash for any purchase over $1,000. In France, they went from 3,000 to just 1,000. Draghi is calling for the elimination of the 500 euro dollar. Larry Summers suggested that the U.S. retire the $100 bill. Can you see why? Well, it wasn't long ago that gold was cash, and they be somewhat protective out there, and as I mentioned in previous broadcasts, you've got to be diversified. You can't be only in the stock market. Well, looking forward to Sinclair Now coming up with us here in segment 2, so stay tuned, and thank you for joining us on Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Planning to buy food storage? Wait a minute. Many companies try to confuse you with the number of servings they sell. It's not about the number of servings, it's about the number of calories. In emergencies, calories mean survival. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com for a comparison of leading companies. Ready Supply Foods sells the most calories per dollar of any company. Our 23 entrees and breakfasts are delicious and full of nutritious calories. The new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest price filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw radio show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back my good friend and special guest, Sinclair No, to Wall Street Raw this Saturday morning. Sinclair is the financial commentator at KFNN 1510 in Phoenix for, I think, 2 decades, and also the author of the book and blog Eat the Bankers. And the website is eatthebankers.com. Sinclair, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure.
Well, we were sort of joking off air what country's name was involved, but it's called Panama, and it's the Panama Papers. And that's the big story this week. I mean, we could spend an hour on this. I'll let you sort of lead it off, but basically a scandal is opened showing, corruption and questionable business practices of the world's politicians, billionaires, entertainers, athletes, drug barons, and others through this law firm in Panama that somehow, spilled the beans.
Well, it goes back to an investigation by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. Apparently, somehow or another, a bunch of documents made their way to a German newspaper, Süddeutsche Zeitung, and they then shared it with the consortium of journalists. It involved some 11.5 million records obtained from a Panamanian law firm called Mossack Fonseca. This involves now transactions in 200 countries, 12 current or recent national leaders, over 143 politicians, their families, or close associates from around the world, using offshore tax havens and shell corporations to essentially evade taxes, launder money, who knows what all they were doing. But this is a massive data dump. I mean, Edward Snowden says this is huge, and it is. This is one of the biggest data dumps we've ever seen, and we just don't quite yet know where all it will go. But already there are a lot of names that have been implicated in this. Everybody from the Prime Minister of Iceland to some of the usual suspects, such as Vladimir Putin, but also the new president of Argentina, Prime Minister David Cameron in the UK. One of the interesting things, though, is it hasn't been naming U.S. names. We're not hearing about U.S. politicians, as if somehow or another they're pristine, which I highly doubt. So anyway, we're waiting to see more and more information spill out. We don't really know where it will go, but already we're starting to see some fallout. The Prime Minister of Iceland resigned the other day. People in Iceland went to the streets. They were protesting in front of the government buildings, and the Prime Minister was forced to resign. David Cameron under extreme scrutiny. We just don't know who will be next.
Holding offshore interests in foreign corporations is nothing new. In fact, it is legal. Many hedge funds, even in this country, as you know, have their operations set up in the Caymans and other places, and they disclose that. And they do it, I guess, to protect themselves from lawsuits and so forth. But there are legitimate reasons to have offshore entities, too, as well, correct?
There are, yes. There are also some illegitimate reasons to have offshore entities. And the question is, which is which? And the answer is, we don't know, because these are anonymous corporate entities. But what we're finding out from this document dump is that many of these shell companies were set up with the express intent of tax evasion or money laundering. Now, that's always been the thing. You don't know whether it's a legal purpose for having an offshore corporation or whether it's for an illegal reason. And that's the secrecy and anonymity provided by these shell corporations. We don't know whether they're being used for good or bad. It's not illegal to avoid taxes. People filling out their tax forms over the next weekend here would probably like very much to avoid as much tax as they possibly can, legally. There's a big difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. And there's a lot wrong with money laundering as well. And it certainly looks like there are a lot of banks as well named in these documents that were involved in helping clients evade taxes and launder money. And some of these names are the usual suspects. So far, we've heard mainly some of the big Swiss banks HSBC, Credit Suisse, UBS, Societe Generale. The interesting point here is that these are all banks that are under deferred prosecution agreements. They've already been found guilty of wrongdoing with things like money laundering. And they have a deal, essentially they're on probation with the Department of Justice. If they commit new crimes, then those old crimes automatically kick in, and they face the new crimes as well. At a certain point, you just have to think somebody in the U.S. government is going to have to actually indict and criminally prosecute some of these banksters. I mean, their hands are so dirty that it becomes almost impossible to imagine that they're not doing something. But, of course, as we know, there are no banksters that have gone to jail in the U.S.
Well, the system is rigged, and we write about this all the time, and it's hard to muster righteous indignation because, as you say in your column, rational thought and recent history tells us it's nothing more than an exercise in futility. It
really is. I mean, these people, the government is so in bed with the banks and these firms like Mossack Fonseca that it's just ridiculous. And by the way, if you want to set up an offshore shell corporation with complete secrecy, the easiest place to do it, United States. Bunch of different states, Nevada, Wyoming, Delaware, South Dakota, easy as pie.
Sinclair, thank you for your time. We're going to have you back in the next segment. I appreciate your time this Saturday morning. We're talking to Sinclair No, editor-publisher of EatTheBankers.com and financial commentator 1510 Phoenix. Thank you, Sinclair. We'll be back after the break.
Yeah, and as I mentioned a moment ago in our previous break, there's a war on cash being raged around the world, too. And as you can see, there's some real creepy things going on in world finance. Something major is brewing, and while there might be an overall plan behind all this, the chances of it working out without a major blow-up seems to be pretty slim. Do you know what item in Japan is now on a 4-month back order? Believe it or not, safes. Yes, indeed, because of the negative interest rates. People are taking out their cash and buying home safes. The U.S. follows the rest of the world into the negative interest rate policy, which could happen here the next year or two. You can bet the same thing will happen here. But go out and try to take 20 grand out of the bank, with the banks now watching the outflow of cash very carefully. So as Sinclair mentioned, the rigging of the markets and the watching of what we're doing with cash is a bad sign for us in terms of our personal freedoms. Meanwhile, we'll have Sinclair back. Stay tuned.
Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@GCNlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@GCNlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Biochemistry determines your mood, memory, energy, and endurance. Your body's primary metabolic function is to make protein. One World Whey is a unique, non-denatured protein. This enables your body to have virtually 100% utilization, whereas typical whey protein powders offer no more than 18% utilization of protein. One World Whey also delivers life-giving frequencies to your cells. The net result for so many people is improved energy, mood, and elimination of pain from inflammation.
This technologically enhanced One World Whey has been really amazing for me. I'm 36 years old, and for the past several years, I've been struggling with lack of energy, drive, and stamina. And after just 2 weeks on this product, I'm feeling so much more energy. My yoga practice has deepened, and as a massage therapist, I'm able to see more clients than I've been able to in years. I've never felt results that quick with anything I've ever taken.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Back Sinclair No, our special guest this Saturday morning from 1510 KFNN Phoenix, and author of the blog and the book Eat the Bankers. EatTheBankers.com is the blog. Sinclair, we just started talking about the Panama Papers and the banksters, and we read this past week that banks, particularly J.P. Morgan, are now paying more attention to large cash transfers. That could be a sign of money laundering, limiting or capping the amount of ATM withdrawals at $1,000 per card. This is ludicrous.
This is so ridiculous. Some of the major banks in the world are now staring down the face of tax evasion, money laundering, some huge issues, and it's almost ridiculous to imagine that there aren't some American banks involved in all this, from Mossack Fonseca, the Panamanian law firm that was setting up these shell corporations. And so what does J.P. Morgan do? Well, they say we're going to limit ATM withdrawals to non-JPM Morgan Chase clients to $1,000 per day, because anything more than that might be money laundering. Right. Meanwhile, millions upon millions of dollars in offshore accounts, and that's not money laundering. That's nothing they want to worry. Pay no attention to what's behind the curtain over here. I mean, that's just the biggest misdirect that I've ever seen. And the other thing here, we haven't seen anything from the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists on U.S. banks or U.S. corporations. However, you got to kind of look at a couple of things. First of all is the point that, well, yeah, you don't have to go to Panama to set up a shell corporation to evade taxes or launder money. You can do it right here in the United States. In fact, Mossack Fonseca, the Panamanian law firm, actually set up subsidiaries in Nevada and Wyoming. That much we have learned so far. Also, you have to look at who's behind the International Consortium of Journalists. This is funded and organized through the USA's Center for Public Integrity, funded by the Ford Foundation, Carnegie Endowment, Rockefeller Family Fund, Kellogg Foundation, and the Open Society Foundation. The people whose names have been released so far as associated with money laundering and tax evasion, this reads like a who's who of people who are on the bad side of the U.S. government. They've been blacklisted, many of them, at least 33 people and companies have been blacklisted by the U.S. government for wrongdoing. So now we have the setup here for a smear. We have the setup for blackmail or incrimination. You want to take down a politician, put them on the list, say how they've cheated their government, say how they've done all these things. And it's a very effective political tool against them.
I'm sure the Democrats are going to use it against the Republicans in the upcoming election. I'm sure some of the wealthy participants might have offshore entities themselves, including the popular Donald Trump, who has a lot of offshore interests. So it'll be surely interesting to see what happens.
Well, and don't be surprised if some Democrats have some offshore trust as well. I don't know who has it, but we should, according to the editor of Süddeutsche Zeitung, we should start seeing U.S. individuals named within the next month.
Well, the Clinton Foundation may be one of them, too.
Might be. I have no idea at this point, but we should start hearing names within about a month.
Sinclair, speaking of the government, there's so many other things going on here. The tax inversion so-called scandal with the Treasury Department now so tightening up regulations. Some officials are claiming that it was improper for them to do this at this time, and the Treasury is overstepping their bounds. But basically, it's killing the merger between Pfizer and Allergan. That's one thing that happened this past week.
Yeah, this is another attempt to get out of taxes, and sure, everybody wants to get out of taxes. I get that, but how does it make sense for Pfizer to go to Ireland? That's not where their headquarters are. That's not where they do business. The crazy thing is that it's taken this long to say, hey, stop doing that. Pay your taxes where you're headquartered, and, Pfizer's headquartered in the U.S. They're not headquartered in Ireland.
Well, corporations have a legitimate complaint, too, that taxes are high, and compared to what taxes are around the world for in other countries for companies, too. So I think, we need some changes in our tax code here, too, which would help it stimulate business here and perhaps avoid this type of tax avoidance as well, don't you think?
Well, sure. But, maybe we could lower taxes if everybody actually paid their fair share.
Or repatriate some of that money that's offshore.
Trillions of dollars we're talking about, not just a few billion, at least $150 billion per year. But they say that the amount offshore could be well into the trillions. You start actually collecting that money, and pretty soon, the deficit goes away. You've got a surplus. That would be a good time to look at reforming the tax code, is when you're sitting in a surplus.
In a minute or so we have left, we read that the Justice Department trying to stop the Halliburton-Baker Hughes merger this past week.
Halliburton-Baker Hughes. There's also the Canadian Pacific deal and Norfolk Southern. Suddenly, it's like they're actually thinking about enforcing antitrust rules a little bit. I don't know how far this really goes, but at a certain point, you got to think the competition's a positive thing, and a lot of these mergers, I'm just kind of wondering why they're doing it. I get some of them, but others don't seem to make a whole lot of sense, really.
Well, particularly now with the oil industry and despair and the consolidation is probably good for that industry to help keep it afloat. I mean, some of these companies may not survive, so the timing, I think, personally, was bad for the Justice Department to go after a depressed industry at this time.
Ultimately, they may be doing them a favor. I mean, the whole energy sector is looking at very difficult times. And I don't know that a merger is going to solve the problems that are running very deep in the energy industry right now.
Sinclair, we ran out of time once again. Thanks so much for joining us. Sinclair No, editor-publisher of EatTheBankers.com, financial commentator, KFNN 1510 Phoenix. And have a great weekend, Sinclair, and thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
In other news stories, the FOMC midweek issued the minutes from its last meeting with the Fed left rates unchanged and lowered its forecast for hikes this year from 4 to 2. The policymakers debated whether to raise rates, but a consensus emerged that risks from a global economic slowdown warranted a cautious approach. So according to minutes, many Fed members said they were concerned that interest rates were still too low, that the central bank had limited firepower. So we know the Fed is reacting, as it always does, to what the markets are doing, and we have the jawboning from the various Fed members coming in when the market's down. Suddenly they're more dovish, and then when the market's up, they're a bit more hawkish. So nothing new and surprising about the fact that they didn't do anything. But we do have a meeting coming up April 26th, 27th, and I suspect they want to be accommodative, so we won't hear any indications that rates are going higher. Stay tuned. We're going to be back with the next guest, Bill Murphy.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com. And like us on Facebook.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
Dr. Joel Wallach here. If you're a baby boomer and you're worried about the big epidemics coming, and I'm not talking about the bird flu or the swine flu, I'm talking about epidemics of Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, arthritis, cancer. That's because the 80 million baby boomers followed all the advice of doctors, and Houston, we have a problem.
See Dr. Wallach live in Farmington, New Mexico, Thursday, May 12th at 7 p.m. Go to www.cdocinfarmington.com. That's www.cdocinfarmington.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Well, it's been several months. Welcoming back my good friend Bill Murphy from the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, GATA. Bill was a former American professional football player. He's also a financial commentator, and he's been with Chris Powell, very active in GATA over the years, and I quote him all the time in my newsletter. The whole basis of GATA, I guess, is to talk about the alleged manipulation of the precious metals markets. And Bill believes that the price of gold is artificially low and has spent years lobbying the U.S. government to investigate market manipulation in the gold market. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here, Mark. And as far as alleged, it's hard for me to even conceive that anybody who watches the price action, when and how, what gold and silver do, that you cannot come to the basic conclusion that the prices are manipulated and suppressed. I mean, today's a perfect example of what God has been talking about in almost to every detail.
Well, bring our listeners up to speed a little bit. We have central bankers all over the world that are apparently unhappy when gold goes higher because it discredits what they're doing, and we know what they're doing is erroneous, printing money like crazy and driving interest rates into negative territory in Europe, Japan, and elsewhere. But how do they go about doing this?
Well, you nailed it, Mark. I mean, that's exactly it. Gold's a barometer of U.S. financial market health and what the central banks are doing. So they want to keep the price down to give out a message, so to speak, that everything is copacetic and fine. And today, for example, they always attack on jobs payroll day. Not always, but most of the time. I would say 90% over the years. They did it again. They advertised what was going to happen in advance. And sure enough, the payroll numbers come out. The stock market hardly did anything up front. The dollar was still lower, and gold got crushed, and silver, which they use as a signal usually, was weak to begin with, crashed almost 70 or 80 cents for no reason. I could go on and on and on, but that's what God has done, and what I do in my commentary on a daily basis is document this stuff. And as you said so well put, it's resulted in gold and silver prices being artificially undervalued to an incredible degree.
We're using the U.S. Freedom of Information Act throughout 2008-9. I read that you sought access to the Federal Reserve's gold-related records, eliciting an admission from the Fed that it has gold swap arrangements with foreign banks and insists on keeping them secret. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I have a good one for you. One, yes, we sued the Fed, and we actually got almost a $3,000 check that the court ordered the Fed to pay us because they refused to answer some questions, and we were correct on that basis. But just yesterday, A guy who follows me knows the markets well. Asked Bill Dudley, the president of the New York Fed, about whether central banks had swapped gold with another central bank or other institution over the years and sold in the market. And this is a quote: "I will not answer that question." That's incredible. He answered it by not answering it.
Well, we know markets are rigged worldwide. So, we know they're rigged. Interest rates are rigged. We know that the currencies are rigged. We know the stock market is rigged with the plunge protection team, which was a result of the act that the Working Group of Financial Markets Act that Ronald Reagan signed in 1988. So it should be no surprise to our listeners or anyone. And it could be that the investing public and Wall Street just accepts the rigging as reality and doesn't really care about it.
Great points again, Mark. You're on the case big time. Well, why can't it be discussed? This is what my beef is. The old about the commercial, where's the beef? Why can't you even discuss something like this? Financial market press won't touch it. God is a four-letter word. I was on CNBC in 1999, and the U.S. had banned here ever since. Why can't it be discussed? They would rather talk about our nuclear secrets than what's really going on in the gold and silver market. Why not say, here's what God has to say? You bring it up, but you won't hear it in the mainstream press ever. Whatever we send them, they won't bring out. And it's going to be a big deal because it's going to lead to financial market chaos because it created financial situations with all this manipulation you've mentioned. And what is good for listeners to know, in my opinion anyway, this is going to blow up, and I think we're reaching a process what is occurring right now. It's gradual. And you are going to see the gold and silver markets go bonkers to the upside. And that should not be too far off. So it's a good reason to understand what this is all about.
Owning physical assets is always important, and when we have such a tenuous financial system where overnight, banks could close or the governments could impose some edict of some kind like they did in Cyprus a few years ago where suddenly overnight 10% of your money is gone, you've got to be diversified. So everyone should be in the gold market regardless if there's manipulation or not, but we know for centuries gold has been held as a standard, so there should be no difference this time.
Well, what's interesting, Mark, is this year is different than the past 5 years of this bear market. In terms of what the gold-silver share action. They had been incredible all year, and after there was a purge of the HUI, stocks in the HUI, about 100, the index went up to 190. That's a 90% gain in just a couple of months. And normally when the gold and silver attack like they are today and have been in the past few weeks, they were collapsing all the time. This time has been totally different. And that they're holding up and they're not reacting to this artificial attacks by the gold cartel. And that's what makes me think and posit that we're reaching a tipping point in which the gold cartel's not going to be able to get along with to get away with what they've been able to do for the past number of years. And it's going to lead to some exciting times ahead, as frustrating as today is.
Bill, we ran out of time, and we'll have you back real soon. But if we want to get more information, we just go to GATE.org, correct?
GATE.org, or they go to my website, Le Metropole Cafe, and get a free trial membership for 2 weeks.
Oh, great. Again, Bill Murphy from the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, thanks for being with us, and say hello to your partner, friend, Chris Powell.
We'll do that, Mark. He's in Asia right now carrying the banner, so I'll let him know.
Have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That it has gold swap arrangements with foreign banks and insists on keeping them secret. So they've won some litigation. There's not much talk about this in the financial press. As I said at the top of the hour, basically we have a press that does not follow the guidelines of the Fourth Estate. They don't question authority. They don't question the economic news and reports, and they repeat what is told them, and they're not doing their job. And that's part of what I try to do on this program. We're trying to restate what the reality is out there, and what's happening now is particularly what's going on in the world with the negative interest rates and debt that will not be repaid. Japan is broke. Europe is broke. The U.S. is broke. We have trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, at least under the current system. I don't know how it'll ever get repaid. So the real issues are going to be a devaluation of the dollar overnight, as we've seen in other countries. There's going to be, or some other extreme event, forcing people to return or not use cash. There's a big push to limit the use of cash. We talked about this at the top of the hour as well. So a lot of reasons why you need to be in the gold market, and it's a hedge if nothing else. Many argue, particularly the talking heads that you hear on financial television, that it's a bad asset, it doesn't earn anything, that it's not something you really want to be invested in. But we've been watching in these recent weeks gold stocks moving, gold showing some resiliency, silver is way behind, and I think ultimately for 5,000 years, gold has been a standard of value. Countries are not so easy to give up their gold reserves, no matter what they say about the value of gold or the importance of gold. They still want to hold their reserves, and why? Because history is on their side. So very, very important. And thank you, Bill, again for being with us. We'll have you back real soon. And as your final word out there, make sure you hold some gold and keep it as a hedge, because it's an insurance policy at the very least, though others indicate that, as I do, they're great trading vehicles in the meantime, particularly some of the gold shares. We just saw American Barrick, for example, nearly double in the last several weeks from very depressed levels. Well, thanks again to Sinclair No and Bill Murphy for joining us on Wall Street Raw today, and we'll have a great program for you next week as well with guests and my commentary. Don't forget to check out drtrader.com, and as I do every week and I close our show, I talk about my good friend Ed Hart at the Old Financial News Network, who used to say, "We will know in the fullness of time." Thank you for joining us on Wall Street Raw.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.